For 13 years, this treacherous government has been in power, and in that time, immigration is at its highest in history. The boats keep on coming, and the asylum seekers keep being dumped in our towns and villages. On their watch, the woke disease has spread through every institution, including the education system, where they are actively brainwashing our kids. Grooming gangs have been allowed to run amok for decades, and there was never so much as a whisper from this government. We know this lot aren't interested in conserving anything about our great nation. And now, after all these years, they are suddenly banning on about dealing with these issues.
We will pass new laws to stop small boats, making sure that if you come to this country illegally, you are detained and swiftly removed.
Of grooming gangs, we've had several independent inquiries look at the incidents here in Rochdale, but in Rotherham and Telford. And what's clear is that when victims and other whistleblowers came forward, their claims were often ignored by social workers, local politicians, or even the police. And the reason that they were ignored were due to cultural sensitivity.
And we all know the reason that people don't focus on it. It's because of political correctness, and they're scared of calling out the fact that there's a particular group of people who are perpetuating these crimes, and I think that's wrong. I think that's wrong.
I do believe that we have, the high levels of the high numbers of people coming in through work and study routes is high. It places pressure on housing and accommodation supply. It places pressure on school places, on health services. Those are reasonable concerns.
It's that what we've seen is a practice whereby vulnerable white English girls, sometimes in care, sometimes who are in challenging circumstances, being pursued and raped and drugged and harmed by gangs of British Pakistani men.
The fact that grooming gangs are preying on young people is a huge failing, both morally and practically.
Why now? Where was all the concern about this before? We already gave you our vote because you promised to get back control of our borders. Yet you opened them wider than ever once you got that vote, and not by accident. Boris Johnson and his chums have always believed in open borders, and that's the reason they opened them. He just pretended the opposite to us, and we fell for his lies. Then came Liz Truss, who intended to push globalisation and have even more immigration, even though she knew it was against the will of the British people. She wasn't even elected by the public. Thankfully, she didn't last long and found herself where she belongs, resigned to political obscurity. The fact of the matter is, the left is correct about this government in many ways. They do not care about addressing any of the issues that concern the British public. They now find themselves so far down the polls, they know they have no chance of winning the next election. So what is left in a desperate attempt to remain in power? Oh, I know. Let's finally address all those concerns and issues the public care about. All those issues we ignored before because actually we couldn't care less about them. But we best pretend we do in a last-ditch attempt to get some votes. Well, too little, too late. We trusted you last time, we can't make that same mistake. We know once you get our votes and secure another term, you'll stop pretending you care about those issues, just like Boris Johnson did. How could anyone in their right mind ever trust this lot ever again to be a right-wing party and actually conserve anything? The Conservatives are a disgrace, and they have betrayed this country, and it's about time we saw the back of them.